Thank you very much. The meeting is now resumed, and we are moving to consent agenda items. Would anyone like to pull any of the council or the consent agenda items out for discussion?
Madam Mayor.
Councilman Teets?
The meeting minutes from the last meeting.
All right.
One.
J2A.
J2A.
Okay, J2A. Would someone like to move the resolution forward for the remaining items?
Madam Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis?
Resolved that Troy City Council hereby approves all items on the consent agenda as presented with the exception of item J2A, which shall be considered after consent agenda items.
Second?
Second.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis, seconded by Councilman Slater. Discussion? A vote, please, Mrs. Bittner.
Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis?
Yes.
Councilmember Slater?
Yes.
Councilmember Teets?
Yes.
Mayor Daniels?
Yes?
Councilmember Campbell?
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming?
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson?
Yes.
Motion passes. Returning to item J2A, Councilman Teets, you have the floor.
Under the meeting minutes, under public comment, I can't pick it up at the moment, but it's listed as Mr. Geiger was talking about the 60th anniversary of the end of World War II. It was just VE Day. VE Day.
VE Day?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. Just small thing, but for the sake of accuracy.
Okay. Any other discussion? Would you like to move the resolution forward, Councilman Teets?
I apologize. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Resolved that the City Council hereby approves the following meeting minutes as submitted with the amendment described just a moment ago.
Second?
Second.
Moved by Councilman Teets, seconded by Councilman Fleming. Any further discussion? A vote, please, Mrs. Bittner.
Councilmember Slater?
Yes.
Councilmember Teets?
Yes.
Mayor Daniels?
Yes?
Councilmember Campbell?
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming?
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis?
Yes.
Motion passes with the amendment. Is that correct, Mrs. Bittner?
Yes.
Okay, there are no memorandums or future council agenda items, no council referrals, so we'll move to council comments. Councilman Campbell.
I know we've talked about this tonight, and it's probably, I'm sure nobody wants to hear it again. However, this is with regards to Mr. Shepke at his last conversation at the council meeting. You know, we had people up here tonight talking about their dislike for what happened and his disrespectfulness to our city manager. A lot of people were outraged and, quite honestly, a little disgusted with some of the comments. Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis stated people who are appointed to these city commissions should be held to a higher standard, which I think everybody here would agree with. Since Mr. Shepke has come onto the scene, we've seen a few issues. Number one, he was on a traffic committee, and he had a very dismal at best performance. His resume and experience was questionable as far as and conducive to requirements of Troy planning as compared to other people who he had as nominees. And Mr. Shepke did make the public comments about the Asian community, and he, as he said today, he did publicly refuse to apologize. Last week, he made numerous inaccurate and disrespectful comments against the city Troy officials and showing, I think, a lot of disdain and contempt for everybody that's up here and ultimately to the citizens of Troy. For all of these reasons, which I think are all harmful to the city, I know that I can't put a resolution out. I know that I can't make a motion. So in council comments, I am asking Mr. Shepke to resign his position on the Planning Commission at the earliest possible convenience and let the city move on in some positive ways. And from this point, I don't know if the city attorney can say what we can and can't do, because I really don't know at this point.
Attorney Bloom?
Mayor, as far as what council can and can't do, obviously council can bring this up. If there is misconduct that is alleged, there is the ability to have a due process hearing where the person would be given notice of the allegations and an opportunity to discuss those. That would be a public meeting. You'd have to have it at least 10 days out. So that would have to be scheduled. And also you'd have to specify what the allegations are. Another thing that has been discussed previously for other instances similar to this is a possibility of censure. Which is something that council does have the ability to do. But you really should have due process provided in order to protect, transparency, in the interest of transparency, in the interest of good government. This is your appointee that you have approved, and so before removing a person, you really do need to provide due process, and there's nothing that you can do without that.
At this point, I just stand with the request I just made, asking him to resign, and clearly it's his decision to do what he feels is right.
Any other comments? Councilman Slater?
Well, I'd like to support that personally. I don't want to go through a due process personally, but I would support what Councilman Campbell is proposing.
Any other comments? Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis?
My comments are really going to be directed towards City Manager Zerlag, since this is the last meeting, although I think I've made myself abundantly clear in terms of holding our board and committee members to a higher standard. I'm hopeful that we can really address this issue more on the front end of these decisions that we're making, because I think at the end of the day, they have been appointed by council, and it's much more difficult to get through any difficult situations that we have, or outcry from the public with members of the boards and committees after the fact than it is before. So I want that to be a big focus for us as a council on the front end of making these appointments. But I did just want to take an opportunity here at council comments to publicly thank City Manager Zerlag. It is your last meeting here with us tonight. You're the only city manager that I've had the pleasure of working with, but I just wanted to make it known to you and to everyone else in the community that it's been an absolute pleasure. I have always thought that you were the utmost professional. We've been through a lot of difficult times here as a council and with the staff, and I really admired how you've handled yourself. I think we've made great strides as a city. I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to work with you, and I thank you for all of your hard work and dedication to the city of Troy. I wish you the best of luck in Florida and sunny weather. So thank you very much for what you've done for us. I know that you've been here before my time, and from everything that I've heard, that was just as successful. So I appreciate everything that you've done for our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments? Councilman Teets?
A similar sort of statement for thank you very much, I guess. Boy, has it been 5 months on city council, and the time and effort you've put in, the reforms in the last couple of years, and so we're in the financial situation we're in, and wouldn't necessarily have been there without a lot of those reforms and so forth. Also, thank you for answering my many questions. I think I call you plenty of times, ask you more questions than you probably want to have to answer on a daily basis, but I really appreciate that. And, we've had our difference of opinions from time to time, but I think you said it wisely when you said it's okay to have difference of opinion, but at the end of the day, and be able to have a beer with each other. And I think it's that sort of attitude that's I've enjoyed, and I appreciate you being able to have that sort of attitude, and really appreciate your time on the council, and I've enjoyed getting to know you. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councilman Fleming?
John, I've had the pleasure of working with you twice, as your city manager, and it's just really been a pleasure, John. And wish you and your family nothing but the best. I know you're going to do great. I know you have challenges there. The reason they're bringing you there is you've demonstrated you can step up to those challenges, and you know what to do. You know how to deal with people, and you've got not an easy job there, but a great place, I think, to work. Good view. So all the best, John. Thank you. Thank you for all your service.
Councilman Henderson?
I'd also like to express my appreciation. This challenge of being on council is difficult at best when you first start out. And John, you have helped me through a lot of the initial stages of this. You answer a lot of questions that maybe shouldn't even be asked sometimes, but I appreciate the candor that you have in responding to those questions on an ultra timely basis. And I also just wish you nothing but the best as you head down south. I envy that. Thank you.
Councilman Slater?
Were you going to say anything? John, we've known each other a long time. I've worked for you, with you, and I just want to thank you for everything you've given to this city. And, you know, I'm really confident that without your leadership and your foresight since 2009, that we would be facing severe financial issues if it was not for you and your foresight. And I think you can leave here proud with your head held high. The small negative group is small. I know January 9th, when the current mayor read her position paper, I know that hurt you deeply. And I know that has something to do with you leaving here, and that makes that, I'm not happy about that. But Cape Coral is the winner, and, you know, we're going to move forward. And I just wish you and your family the best, and it's been a pleasure working with you, for you, and I hope we continue to see each other many, many more times. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Zerleg, my sincerest best wishes for you and your future endeavors in Florida. Thank you very much.
I'd like to make just a quick response, and that is that not just Troy, but I think every city across the United States has challenges to go through. And I don't want to call them the fathers and mothers of our charter realize the importance at the local level of a nonpartisan approach to solving local issues. And I think that philosophy needs to be embraced, not just in Troy, but all over, because the issues really extend beyond a political ideology. They're real life issues. They affect yourself, your neighbors, probably your biggest investment that you have, where you work, the quality of life where you live. And unfortunately, it's not even for cities anymore, but I think states and even the feds could take a lesson from trying to find just the best solution to the problems that face us. And that's what I want to leave you with, just that advice. Thank you.
Thank you. I would also like to be sure and remind everyone that this week is the Police Memorial Week. We have an open house tomorrow. The Troy Police Department has an open house tomorrow from noon until 7 o'clock in the evening, and a memorial service on Thursday, May 17th, in front of the Troy Circle Drive, weather permitting. If it's raining, it'll be held here in the chambers. That'll be at 10 o'clock on Thursday morning, followed by a luncheon awards ceremony at San Marino Club. That we would wish that you would all join us. And I want to thank the Troy Police Department for their great work on a daily basis. Thank you. Also, the Mayor for a Day contest is officially over. We have all the essays in. Mr. Charlie Langdon, who's our mediator, hasn't provided me with the essays as of yet. I'll be reviewing them this week with the help of council, and I would hope that I can count on the local media to announce the winners of the contest before the next meeting, which is June 4th, and that will be the first winner opportunity to be mayor for a day. That said, we can move on to reports. Are there any questions or comments about the reports? Mr. Councilman Henderson?
Yeah, N2A, I had requested some information from Mr. Zerlag about the tax abatement policy, and it stems from a conversation I had last Friday evening when we were at Granite City. And we were able to meet with some of the principals at Granite City, and they spoke highly of the process working with the city of Troy in getting their building open. I know they had some hurdles, and I think they got their C of O about 3 o'clock that afternoon. But it got the wheels turning a little bit. What makes businesses want to come to Troy, and how can we reach out as a committee to new businesses after the fact to try to glean some of that information. I think that 5 minutes that I spent with those people just kind of let me understand that maybe all of the businesses that open in a year's time could use a follow-up call 3 months, 6 months after the fact from one of us, all of us, just to how was your experience? What can we do better? What do we excel at? I just wanted to float that out there. I don't know if it deserves a response or if we can enact something. I'd be certainly willing to make phone calls myself to better our system. Not that it's not great as it is, but I just think if we don't learn and keep continuing to learn and do better, we miss the opportunity.
I'd like to support Councilmember Henderson's comments. It's very important for all the members of council, in addition to staff, to promote the city and do what we can to attract growth in our community.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Oh, Mr. Miller.
Madam Mayor and Council, I just, when Councilman Henderson talked about Granite City, I just had to bring this up. They've already come to our planning department to seek an expansion.
Good.
Part of it has to do with it's the first time they built that prototype, but they want to look to expand their cooler already.
Wow.
Well, there are no letters of appreciation, proposed proclamations, notice of hearing, no study session, no closed session, so this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you for joining us.